Welcome to the Virtual Excel Academy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. We're here with you too. My name is Amaya and our hosts are Leanne and Charlotte and Cheryl Hannon. And my name is Amaya.
Welcome everyone. We are so glad you are here and that you have joined us. Leanne is the Director of National Outreach from APH. Hello, Leanne.
Hello, everyone.
Charlotte is the host of Paths to Literacy. She's from Perkins and Texas School for the Blind. Hello, Charlotte.
Everyone.
And we have Belinda with us, who is our closed captionist. Belinda, we want to thank you for your service. You've been with us for 48 sessions, and tomorrow will be our 49th session. We are so glad that you've been with us all this time. This is our last English speaking session of the last 10 weeks that we've been doing this. It has been such a joy to be with you all through this time period. And we are excited to have a consortium of presenters. And it's so fitting because this consortium comes from all over the United States. And I'm going to let you have them introduce themselves, because they have a little story that goes with it too. So thank you everyone for saying who you are and where you're from in the chat window. We had a chance to say hello to each of you and really appreciated that. So if we didn't get a chance to say hello, tell us who you are, write it in the chat window, and I'm going to let our presenters introduce themselves. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Nick and I'm a certified orientation and mobility specialist from Los Angeles, California, and I like to play the guitar with my son for fun.
Hello everyone, my name is JoAnne and I'm from South Florida. I'm a certified orientation and mobility specialist, and I like to take pictures.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Herrera. I'm also an orientation and mobility specialist in California, and I like taking hikes with my dog Midnight.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Kaplan, and I'm also an orientation and mobility specialist, and I work as a TVI in the last semester of my program, and I like writing creative stories.
Okay, so we are the Consortium for Creative Orientation and Mobility Specialists. And again, the title of our presentation is called My Neighborhood, What's Around Me? And so at this point in time, we want to give everyone a couple minutes to locate a note-taking system. And this could be a paper and pen, an iPad, your Braille device, because we're going to ask you to follow along, take some notes while we discuss neighborhood travel. And again, while we're waiting for everyone to get their note-taking system ready, anyone who wants can use the chat box to, again, tell us what's your name, where you're from, and we also want to know what you like to do for fun.
So this is just for students who should be writing in, Nick? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, we want to hear what where folks are from, their name, and what they like to do for fun. Amaya likes to swim. That's awesome. I like to swim too.
Keen likes to play the guitar for fun.
Very cool. Ashley's also from California and she likes to go to musical concerts. Me too. Oh, we have folks that like to sing and go skiing. We have some bird watchers. Brian likes game shows. Very cool.
You've got Titus, who likes the guitar, and Becky, who likes singing, Jim, who likes Legos, and Jose, who likes cooking.
Awesome. Okay. So it's been about a minute. Jessica, did you want to start?
Yeah, that would be great, Nick. Hi, this is Jessica. Thank you all for your answers, and it's really neat to see where everyone is in the world. We're going to read the story, The Family of O&M, and it was written by actual O&Ms. So follow along as we read, because we're going to ask you some questions after we're done. So we'll just pull up the text of the story if you want to follow along with your vision, but I'm going to read it aloud also. Dear friends, hi, my name's Owen. I live with my mom, dad, brother, and my dog Bingo. Since I am blind and can't see like other people do, I learned a lot of neat things that help me and my family every day. I decided that I'm going to let you in on some of my secrets. Something else I want to tell you about is how I use my senses. You know, the things that help us smell, touch, and hear stuff, like our nose, hands, and ears. Next slide, Nick. So this is a drawing of Owen inside his home, approaching the front door. He has his arms extended near a wall on the left side and a coat hanger near the right wall with a scarf that holds his mobility cane. Bingo is lying on the floor in the middle of the entrance hallway with an excited expression on his face. Come join us while Mom, Bingo, and I go for a walk around the block. Sometimes my mobility instructor comes along with us to make sure we are doing things the right way and also teaches us new stuff. One new thing that I'm learning is how to use the long cane. It's a cool tool, but I'll have to tell you all about that another time because Bingo is barking and we are ready to go. Before we leave, I have to find Bingo's leash. I hope Mo wasn't the last one to use it because he never puts things back in the same place. Ah, there it is. I found it, so off we go. Next slide, Nick. Awesome. So this is a picture of Owen guided by his mother. With her other arm, his mother's holding Bingo's leash. Owen is approaching the wheelchair ramp. I know I'm getting near the corner when I hear the close, loud sounds of the cars passing in front of me. The sidewalk is another clue I can use to tell me I'm getting close to the road. The sidewalk may end with a step down into the street because it is a curb, or end with a slant, just like my driveway does. Mom told me that the slant is for people who use wheelchairs, so they can go up and down the sidewalk easier. This is my clue that I need to turn and keep going around the block because I'm too little to cross streets by myself. Next slide, Nick. Thank you. So this is a picture of Owen and his mother standing on a sidewalk. Owen is guided by his mother, and with her other arm, she's holding Bingo's leash. Bingo faces a cat on the neighbor's lawn and has an excited expression on his face. Sometimes Mom and I have to step off the sidewalk and onto the grass because there may be a puddle, kids riding their bikes, or other stuff in the way. Today, Mom stops to tell me that workers are fixing the sidewalk and we need to walk around the construction. It is safer to walk towards the houses instead of the street. I know that I am not on the sidewalk anymore when I step onto someone's front lawn or in the grass that is near the street. I know grass feels softer than the hard pavement. Oh no, I can hear that fat old cat meow. I know that I better grab onto Mom's arm and hang on tight because as soon as Bingo hears it, we're off. Next slide, Nick. Awesome, thank you. So this is a picture of Owen and his mom standing on the sidewalk. An arrow-shaped sign that spells the word bakery directs towards a curved path. Owen and his mom face a neighbor, and the neighbor's standing on his porch with a radio in his hands. All of a sudden, Mom and Bingo stop. It's a good thing they do because I think we're headed straight for a tree. Ah, it feels cooler standing under the shade of the leaves. Hey, I'm starting to smell the bakery, which means I'm getting close to my house. Mom and I decide to head for home. Sometimes Mo leaves the radio on the porch playing his favorite tape. I can hear the music, and this helps to tell me where my house is. When Mom stops walking and starts to turn, I can feel the bricks under my feet. I know I'm at my driveway because it's the only brick driveway on the block. We're finally home. Next slide, Nick. So now we're going to see if you're following along and discuss some of the concepts related to orientation and mobility, while JoAnne will ask you some questions. JoAnne?
Great. Thanks so much, Jessica. We're going to talk about some of the questions that about the story. So let's take a look at our first question. Remember, you can answer A, B, or C in the chat box if you think you know the answer, so think about it. What sounds would you hear in a neighborhood? Dogs barking, vehicles driving nearby, or all of the above? Think about it once, think about it twice, think about it 3 times. Final answer. I see some people have put an A, B. Let's take a look at what the answer was. Next slide, Nick. If you answered all the above, C, then you are correct. Great. Let's think about another question. What did Owen hear near the corner? A, vehicles, B, airplanes, or C, a dog barking? Think about it once, twice, and final answer. I see lots of people put down A, which is correct. He heard a vehicle. If you answered vehicles, you are correct. And this is a picture of a car on a road with trees surrounding it and grass. Excellent job. Let's take a look at another question. What did Owen smell to let him know he was getting closer to his house? A, he felt the sidewalk change from smooth to rough. He could smell the baked goods from the bakery nearby. His mother told him the house was nearby. I see lots of B's. I believe the B's might have it. So you're quick on that one. So we're gonna have to think about it once, twice, or final answer. Let's see what the answer is, if you are correct. If you answered he could smell baked goods from the bakery, then you are correct. And this is a picture of different baked goods you can get at a bakery. Donuts, eclairs, muffins, croissants, and some fancy waffles, and even some pretzels. All right, excellent job. Thanks so much. Let's talk about some landmarks and clues. Next slide, please. All right, so what are landmarks and clues? What are they? Write down some words in the chat box that would describe a clue. A clue used for orientation and mobility. So just one word maybe to tell us what you think a clue might be. Information, smell, okay. Environmental, great words. Let's see. Curves, interesting. All right. Sounds, smells. Let's find out. Hearing. Let's take a look at the definition of a clue. Clues are information that when used, combined, or together with more information can be used to help in orientation. Location, objects, people, places in the environment. So you were spot on. Great job. So let's talk about landmarks. Next slide, please. So, like we do with clues, let's think about some words that describe landmarks used for orientation and mobility. What could they be? Think about it. What could landmarks be? Just 1 or 2 words. A little bit different than a clue. Light poles. Could be. Location, building on a street. Lamppost. More buildings. All right. Let's take a look at the definition of landmarks. Next slide, please. They're easily detectable, recognizable, they're constant. So something like a building, it's not going to move. anytime soon. It's in a permanent location. And it offers specific information about an individual location. Great. So now that we learned about landmarks and clues, let's answer some questions about them. Next slide, please. Questions, yay. All right. What was near Mo's house that makes it feel cooler? A, sidewalk, B, tree, C, the bakery. Think about it once, twice. Final answer. I see a lot of B's. You guys are really on the mark. Excellent. Let's see if that is the correct answer. And this is a picture of a mature tree with a thick trunk and lots of green branches and leaves. So if you answered a tree, then you are correct. Let's take a look at our next question. How did Owen know it was Mo's house? Did Owen A, hear Mo's dog, B, Mo was playing music, or C, Mo gave Owen a hug? I see you thinking about it once, twice. What could it be? I see. So the question was, what gave it away that Owen was near Mo's house? And let's see what the answer is. I see lots of B's. If you answered that Mo was playing music, then you are correct. And that was B. And this is a picture of, it's a little bit of a flashback in time. It's called a boombox. It has two speakers on the side. It has something called a cassette player, and the controls are up top. And you can hold it with a handle, and it has something called an antenna. And these were used a long time ago, long before Apple Play. Thanks so much, Nick. Let's go check out the next slide. So, what clue did Owen identify to know he was near the end of the sidewalk? A, echoes, B, the curb cut, or C, the grass line? Think about it. Was it the grass line, the curb cut? Final answer? All right. So if you answered the curb cut, you are correct. He knew the end of the sidewalk was coming because he felt the curb cut. And this is a picture of a curb cut with something called a truncated dome or detectable warning surface. It has little bumps on it, so they're like half circles, and it tells people who might have a visual impairment, hey, I should stop and slow down. Thanks so much, Nick. All right, well, thanks so much for answering the questions. I'm going to pass it back to Nick, and he's going to talk about sensory efficiency.
Thanks, JoAnne. Hi, guys, it's Nick. So I wanted to remind you that like Owen, when we walk around the neighborhood, we often hear, smell, and feel different objects. We're going to test your knowledge of sounds. We're going to play different sounds. And we'd like you to listen and follow along to identify the sound sources. We're going to play the sounds twice and then reveal the answer. So if you have headphones on, or if you have you want to get your computer ready to hear the sound, but make sure you don't put it up too loud because I don't want to hurt anyone's ears. I'll give you 2 seconds and then we'll start. Sounds good? Okay. I appreciate Naya saying Y for yes, meaning he or she is ready to go, and Abby's ready to go. They got their headphones and or volume up, but not too loud, just in case. Okay. Our first sound, we're gonna listen once. Everybody ready? Here we go. Okay, we're gonna listen again. Everybody ready? Here we go. Okay, so we've listened once, we've listened twice. It's now time to find you can place your final answer into the chat box and then we'll see if you are correct. We have some excellent listeners here, far better than I. Let's see what the final answer was. If you answered an airplane, then you are correct. And what we have here on the screen is a animated picture of a large airplane, the kind that you would take to go on a trip. And we're going to listen to the sound one final time. The sound of an airplane. Nice job. Everyone did good. Let's listen to another sound, okay? Get ready. We're going to listen once. Okay, we're going to listen twice. Okay, everyone ready for their final answer? There's some good answers going. Let's find out. If you answered a lawnmower, then you are absolutely correct. And what we have here on this screen is a cartoon picture of a lawnmower cutting the grass. And it's the kind that you have to push yourself. So let's hear that sound one more time so everyone can identify the lawnmower. Great work so far. Everyone ready for another sound? You're doing great. Okay, we're gonna listen once. We're gonna listen twice. Everyone's getting a chance to place their final answer in the chat box. We have some excellent listeners. Let's find out what that final answer was. If you answered a bird, then you are absolutely correct. What we have here on this screen is a picture of a cartoon bird flapping its wings as it flies through the air. And then we'll listen to the bird one more time. Great job, everyone. Okay, because you're so good, we're going to keep going with some more sounds. Let's see if they get harder, okay? Let's listen once. Let's listen twice. Take your time to place a final answer. A lot of good answers. And if you answered that was the sound of a car surging, then you are correct. What we have here is a cartoon picture of a gentleman inside his red sports car, and his engine is surging. He's accelerating as he presses on the gas and drives real fast. And the sound that you hear is this. Okay, nice listening, everyone. We're gonna head on for some more sounds. Okay, get ready to listen once. Let's get ready to listen twice. Everyone's placing their final answer in the chat box. Some very good listeners. I see someone answering squeaky brakes. A lot of people are identifying a bus, maybe. Oh, someone's saying that bus sounded like it was stopping or skidding. Interesting. Let's check out the final answer and we'll hear the sound one more time. If you answered that that was the sound of a car braking, then you are correct. Let's hear it one more time. That definitely sounds like squeaky brakes of a car. And what we have here on this screen is a picture of a very embarrassed looking cartoon car because their brakes are so squeaky. They're going, ooh, that was squeaky. And they look like they're embarrassed that they need to fix their brakes. Okay, a few more sounds, guys. Get ready to listen once. You're doing great. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to that one again. Let's listen twice. I want to see what everyone else's final answer is before I give mine. A truck, a tractor, an old truck. Interesting. We have some good listeners with very good, very good. Large truck. Ooh, very specific. An 18-wheeler to be exact. Okay, those are some great final answers, guys. Let's move one slide ahead and see. If you answered that that was the sound of a truck idling, that the engine was idling, meaning that it was stopped, it wasn't accelerating, it wasn't decelerating or braking, it was just at a standstill, then you are correct. Let's listen one more time to the sound of that truck idling. And here on this slide, we have a picture of a cartoon garbage truck, just idling, just engine on, not going anywhere, staying still. Nice listening, everyone. Okay, I believe we have a few more sounds, so if you're ready, we can listen once. We can listen twice. And let's see, we're gonna have some folks place a final answer in the chat. Moving car passing by, interesting. Car passing by, vehicle on the road, skateboarder going by, Moving car driving by, I think you guys are onto something. Your ears are definitely fine-tuned. Let's find out the final answer. If you answered that that was the sound of a single car approaching and then passing, you are absolutely correct. Let's listen one more time. It was just one single car approaching and then passing. And on this screen here, we have a picture of a cartoon car, a single car driving on the road, and the car is driving itself. It's got little arms, and it's holding its own steering wheel as it approaches. Okay, I think we've reached the end, and this is going to be our final sound, so keep up the great work. We're going to listen once. We're going to listen twice. Everyone's going to put their final answer in the chat box. Wait, I see dog barking or a puppy barking, puppy dog. Very true, very good answers. We definitely have some good listeners. Let's find out. Our final answer, if you answered a dog, then you are correct. And then on this screen here, we have a picture of a cartoon dog with its mouth open, and it's got a big red tongue and a black nose, and it looks very happy. It looks like it might be getting ready to bark. You know what? You guys did such a good job. I think we're going to have to do a bonus sound. Does everyone want to do a bonus sound? Should we do one more? All right, I see an emphatic yes. Y-E-S-S-S-S-S. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a bonus sound, everyone. Great work. Okay, get ready to listen once. Get ready to listen twice. Okay, we'll take a moment to place our final answer in the chat box. Okay, let's see what it could be. We got a lot of responses. Very good, listeners. Water running, pouring rain, waterfall, maybe water coming from a hose. Definitely all good answers. Waterfall. So we're going to the next slide. And if you answered a sound of a water fountain, then you are correct. Let's hear it again. The sound of that water fountain. On this screen, there's a picture of a water fountain, and it's got 3 different levels. And at the top level, there's some bright blue water pouring out up into the sky and then falling back down into the fountain. It's very ornate or pretty. So nicely done, everyone. On this slide here, we have cartoon hands giving not 1, but 2 thumbs up. And they're also applauding or giving you a round of applause. And that would sound something like this. Great work. I think everyone should take a moment to give themselves a round of applause for being such good listeners. And I'm gonna clap for you too. Nice job, everyone. That's the sound of me clapping. Excellent work. Excellent work. Take a bow. So this has concluded the listening portion of our presentation. My friend Jessica is now going to discuss something called cardinal directions. And there's a picture of what we would call a compass on the screen, and it's pointing to both north, east, south, and west. So take it away, Jessica.
Great, thanks, Nick. Good job, you guys. It's Jessica again. So when we travel around our neighborhood, whether it's walking with a wheelchair, using a walker, or with family and friends, the moment we open the door, we're facing a direction. We may hear some sounds Nick played too. The direction we're facing is forward, but what is forward exactly? Well, it depends on where you are in the world. And so we use cardinal directions to determine this. The Never Eat Soggy Waffles song, or the phrase, it's called a mnemonic, or a phrase to help us remember something. So we'll discuss this mnemonic and then another one for the address system later on. So if you take the first letter of each word in the phrase, never eat soggy waffles, it is N, E, S, and W, which are north, east, south, and west, and you have the cardinal directions. So we're gonna play the song, and feel free to dance if you want, and listen along as we play it. So Nick will go ahead and play the song for us.
The besties. Listen to this. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, no. Never. North, east, soggy waffles. West. Never dress waffles in bikini. No. Never eat waffles with tortellini. Never rub waffles in the dirt. Cause crunch, crunch, crunch is gonna make your teeth hurt. Drop your waffles in the pool. Yeah, maybe that'll make them all nice and cool. But you're gonna need some fancy goggles when you dive in to get those super soggy waffles. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, no. Never. North, east, soggy waffles. after you see. Never dip your waffles in hairspray. Dip, dip, dip. Oh, that would be nasty. Drop your waffles in a lake. They might get slurped up by a burster. Water shake. Gonna need some fancy goggles when you dive in to get those super soggy waffles. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, no. Never eat soggy waffles. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, oh, oh. Never eat soggy waffles. Oh, 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 oh. Never eat soggy waffles. 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 Oh, oh.
Sylvia, I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I do like to eat soggy waffles. Especially when it's drenched in maple syrup.
Thanks, Nick, for playing that. So in the chat box, type a yes or Y if you like waffles.
Never eat soggy waffles.
I know I do. Awesome, that's a handful of yeses. So that song is a good way to remember the directions. It's pretty catchy, huh? So the cardinal directions are the directions that never change. They always tell us where we're facing. On the screen, we have the words cardinal directions, and then we have the phrase, remember, never eat soggy waffles, with the beginning of each word highlighted for N, north, E, east, S, south, and W, west. So we can use cardinal directions even where we are right now in this presentation. So for this short exercise, face forward, whichever forward it is for you, and try not to turn your body. So starting now. Let's pretend that the direction you're facing is north. So what's directly in front of you? You can use the chat box if you want during this. So is it a screen? Is it a window? Right now, my cat Merle is in front of me sitting by the window, and he's sitting, viewing the window, birds outside. So reach your arms out and feel what's in front of you. Find something that's not likely to move or change for a while. The window will still likely be there for many years, but my cat Merle is likely to jump down and chase birds outside. What about your direct right? This is east. So you can extend your arm out carefully and try not to bump the person next to you. To my east, I have a bookshelf, and it's filled with my favorite books that I read often and things that inspire me to write creative stories. Directly behind me, or where my back is south. So what's your back touching? Is it the back of a chair? Are you against the wall? Right now I feel the back of my chair, but I also know that my printer is directly behind me. So when I'm facing forward at my window, directly in front of me, working on the computer, I can hear my printer behind me. So the last direction is west, which is to my direct left. So extend your arm out carefully and sweep it if you'd like. On my direct left and at the height of my shoulder is where I hang my house keys. I place them here so I always know where they are when I need them, kind of like Owen. Now, what if I turn my body to the right? Where's north? Where's east, south, and west? Are these directions still here? Yes. What has changed is me and where I am in the world. What change did I make? Well, I turned right. So this changes what direction I'm facing, but not the cardinal directions. Now, what is north is now directly to my left. My window is still there, but now it's to my left because my window is still north. So how I moved and how I'm oriented to my window has changed. Now east is directly in front of me. I'm facing my bookshelf because it was to my right, but when I turned right, now it's directly in front of me. So east is in front of me. Every time you turn your body or part of your body, your positioning changes. So when you move your body, be aware of the changes you make and know what is always going to be there. Try this yourself and find what items are in your surroundings. You can use sounds and test your knowledge to determine the cardinal directions and where a sound is coming from. So what will always be there? The cardinal directions will always be there. Or you can use our mnemonic, never eat soggy waffles. So if you know another mnemonic, you can write it in the chat box. I know Deanna has one that she's going to share next and would like to discuss the movement of the sun and time of day to determine what cardinal direction you are facing. Deanna?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Jessica, for introducing us to the cardinal directions. This is Deanna speaking. So I'm going to go over the midpoints. So in addition to the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, we have the midpoints northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. So northeast is in between north and east. Southeast is in between south and east. Southwest is in between south and west. And you guessed it, northwest is in between north and west. So why is it important to know all these directions? So as Jessica had said, it's important to know where we came from, where we are in the world, and where we want to go. So let's go back to Jessica's example. So if you can, okay, thank you. So on the slide, we have a happy face. So it represents Jessica. And then behind Jessica, she has, behind the happy face, there is a printer. In front of the happy face, there is a window. To the right of the happy face, there is a bookshelf. And then to the left of the happy face, there are keys. So back to Jessica's example. So in front of her, she had the window, which was her north. And then to her east, which is to her on her right side, she had the bookshelf. Directly behind her, which is her south, she had the printer. To her west, which is to her left, she had the house keys hanging. So let's review the midpoint. So her northeast is in between her window, that's in front of her and her bookshelf, which is to her right. What do you have on your northeast side? So let's type it in the chat. I like Kylie's answer that she said, so we can find our way to the class, library, cafeteria. And she also said that she has artwork on her northeast side. Very nice, good answer. So now her southeast side is between the bookshelf and the back of her printer. What's on your southeast side? So someone said their mini fridge. Okay, so we'll take a minute and see what you type. Justin said a steamer. Nice answers. The back of a wall. Okay. So her northwest is between the place where she hangs her keys and her window. What's on your northwest side? So type it in the chat box. A cutting table, Justin said. A closet. Esmeralda said a closet. Jocelyn said a backpack on a hook. Very nice, good answers. So some real world examples where you might use The midpoints would be when you ask your friend for directions, or if Google Maps gives you directions and they tell you that Baskin Robbins is going to be on the southeast corner of a particular intersection. Or how many of you take the bus? Reply with the why, if you take the bus or have ridden the bus before. So a lot of answers with why. Sometimes, Clan said sometimes. So it's useful to know on which corner the southeast corner is going to be, or where your bus stop is going to be. So it's important to know where your midpoints are and where your cardinal directions are, so you know where you're at. So there's several concepts that are important to know. So first, you have to know the compass direction. So we just went over them, right? North, south, east, and west, and then the midpoints. Can anyone type in the chat box where the midpoints are? Let's see. What are the midpoints? So there are 4 midpoints. Yeah, they're in the middle of the cardinal directions. Good. So it's northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Very good, Kylie and Giselle. So first, and then the next thing you have to know is the time of day. So you can use your cell phone, your talking watch. You can ask your parent or your family member. You can ask Alexa or Siri. Okay, so I'm going to use Siri to ask what time it is, okay? So I'm on my cell phone, I'm using Siri. So I'm gonna say, hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 11:46 a.m.
So in California, it's 11:46 a.m. Okay, I saw some people were here from New Zealand, so I'm gonna ask Siri, where New Zealand, what time is it in New Zealand?
Diana, you muted yourself. Oh, there you go.
Hey Siri, what time is it in New Zealand?
In Wellington, New Zealand, it's 6:47 a.m.
So 6:47 a.m. Okay, I saw some people from Puerto Rico. I'm gonna ask her what time it is. Hey Siri, what time is it in Puerto Rico?
It's 2:47 p.m. in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay, and then Sian typed in Ireland, so I'm gonna ask. Hey Siri, what time is it in Ireland?
In Dublin, Ireland, it's 7:48 p.m.
Very cool. Okay, so you can use Siri or you can use Alexa to be able to determine the time. So another thing that you can do is simply follow your schedule. For example, if you wake up at 7 a.m., the sun is going to be on the east side. Or when you're in math class, it might be about 2 p.m., right? Or if you're eating dinner, it might be around 6 p.m. So knowing the time of day will help you establish which direction you are facing. So the third thing we will need to understand is the sun's position in the sky throughout the day. So where is the sun? Can you feel the sun through the window near you? What about when you step outside? Where do you feel the sun then? When you're outside, where do you feel the sun? Do you feel it in front of your face? Do you feel it behind you? Do you feel it to the right side of your body? To the left side? So finding the sun will help you establish which direction you are facing. So you might ask, how can I do this? How can I establish what direction I'm facing with the sun? So, well, by knowing the location of the sun throughout the day and the time of day. So the sun rises in the east side and then travels through the southern sky and sets on the west. So on the slide, we have a picture of 5 suns, and they're going across the page, and they coordinate with each cardinal direction and with each time. And then we have the letter N at the top of the slide representing north. So the sun rises on the east side around 6 or 7 a.m. and then it travels to the southeast side at around 10 a.m. And then around noon, the sun is on the south side, and then at about 3 p.m., the sun is on the southwest side. And then around 6 or 7 p.m., the sun is on the west side. So this might change depending on the season. So can anyone tell me what the 4 seasons are of the year? So students, can you tell me what the 4 seasons are? Okay, so Kylie said spring, summer, fall, winter, very good. Also Parker, Cian, Faith, Giselle, very nice. You are correct, very good answer. So there are different sunrise or sunset times depending on what season it is. So for example, here in California, the sun is setting at around 7:30 p.m. But if it was winter, it would be setting at around 5 p.m. So it just depends. So can everyone tell me in the chat what time it is where they live and what you think the location is of the sun right now? So I'll wait for the students to answer. So Parker said it's 2:51 and the sun is east. And then
We do have an interesting comment that New Zealand is opposite for the sun movement. So those are things us Americans need to learn, huh?
Yep. Very true. Okay. And then Justin said 1:51, and he said pretty much directly overhead. And then Jocelyn said it's 2:51 p.m. and it's heading towards the west. Very good. Okay. So we have to remember never eat soggy waffles. Or you can also use never eat sour watermelon or make up your own mnemonic. So if you know the time of day and you know the location of the sun, you will be able to determine where all the cardinal directions are. So for example, if it's 7 a.m. and you feel the sun in front of you, then you are facing east because the sun rises in the east in the United States. From there, if you use the mnemonic never eat soggy waffles to label each side of your body in a clockwise direction, you can determine the rest of the cardinal directions. So east represents eat, which in this example we determined is in front of you, right? So east is in front of you. And then to your right would be soggy, right? So to your right would be south. Behind you would be waffles, and that would be west. To your left would be never, so that would be north. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to see your understanding. So if it's 7 p.m. and you feel the sun in front of you, which direction are you facing? So if you can please type it in the chat. So Kylie, good. You're facing west. Very good. So that's right. You would be facing west. So if you use never eat soggy waffles or never eat sour watermelon, north would be to the right, south would be to the left, and west would be behind you. Okay. So question number 2. So if it's 10 a.m. and you feel the sun in front of you, which direction are you facing? So if you can please type it in the chat. So Kylie said southeast. Good job. Good. Okay. And then question number 3. Mikey also said southeast. Very good. So question number 3. So this is a tricky question. So just imagine yourself walking down a residential block, just like Owen did. And you stopped at the corner, just like Owen did. And you feel the sun behind you, and it's noon. What direction are you facing? So the sun is behind you, and it's noon. So Kylie said north, Brian said north. Very good. So you're facing north because the sun is behind you. So now you hear traffic to the left and you hear traffic in front of you. You are standing in the southeast corner. So you're facing north, you hear traffic to the left and in front of you. And you are standing in the southeast corner. Which corner is directly across the street in front of you? So type it in the chat, which corner would be directly across the street in front of you. Okay, so you would be on the northeast corner. So you're on the southeast corner, and the northeast corner would be directly across the street. So Faith Bravo said northeast, very good. Mickey said northeast, awesome. So thank you so much for listening to me talk about cardinal directions and where the sun is. So next, JoAnne will talk about the address system.
Nicely done. Thanks so much, Deanna. We're going to talk about the address system. We're going to talk about how our hands can remember our address. So let's think about it. If everyone could put their hand in front, if you can, show us your hand, and let's find your thumb. Your thumb is typically your shortest finger. So our thumb is going to identify as the country where we live. So if you live in the US, if you live in Australia, if you live in Canada or New Zealand, that would be your country. Our index finger, which is the one beside our thumb, would be our state or province or territory where you live. And the one next to it would be the city. What city do you live in? And the next one would be what street, circle, terrace, or court do you live on? And the last one is the house or apartment number. Where do you live? Now, we're only going to share something. So if you want to share what would be on your thumb, which is your country, put it in the chat box. Wow, Ireland, US, Pakistan, US, great. And if you want to put in the chat box the province or the state where you live. Leinster, New York, Puerto Rico, Washington State, Texas, wow. Pennsylvania, Georgia, Connecticut. Wonderful. And the rest of the stuff we're going to kind of keep to ourselves. So that's how we figure out the address, where we live, our address finger, using our fingers, sorry. Another few things we can think about when we're thinking about our address. Where do we find our addresses and what do we use them for? We use them to mail things. We use them to find people's homes, family or friends' homes. And we use them to find places. Now, we have odd and even numbers for addresses. So if you look at the last number of an address, it'll tell you if it's an odd or even number. And that can give you an idea of where the addresses are located. Now, I wish we had time to go over some more, but if you like to, talk to your mobility specialist and they can share information about bisecting components of addresses, different cardinal directions, ways to use the address system. But that's a very short way of learning a little bit about the address system. Thanks so much. I'm going to pass it back to Nick. This was JoAnne, sorry. And by the way, this is you're seeing a picture of a hand that says country, state, city, street, and house.
Hi everyone, it's Nick again. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. So we wanted to let you know that when you're walking around your neighborhood, remember to think about what you hear, smell, and feel. You can always create your own list of items when you're outside or perhaps when you get back home. If you can't walk in your neighborhood currently, you can also try and open your window and write down a list of what you hear. My suggestion is to get a family member to help confirm the identity of the sounds, or maybe they'd be willing to take a walk together with you. You can create your own inventory of the sun and the time of day. You can build a map of your neighborhood using cardinal directions and the address system. And please remember that this is recorded, so you can review all these concepts we've covered and try it yourself with your O&M instructor or your family. You can even use Google Maps to do a virtual walk through your neighborhood from your computer right at home. We want to thank you again for joining us and spending time with us. And we're going to remind you to check back in a few days for some more resources and even more information about the cardinal directions and how you can use them when you're traveling in your community that we weren't able to cover today. So thank you again.
Nick, can you stop sharing your screen?
Thank you, everyone. What a fabulous lesson today. So many important skills were covered, and we're so glad that you were able to join us today. We're going to stick around just for another minute or two, and I know Leanne is probably going to need to get going, but we will stick around and say goodbye to our friends now. We usually have maybe 1 or 2 minutes for questions at the end, and so we might be able to hold on long enough for 1 or 2 questions. However, before we close, I need to announce our last session. Today was our last English speaking session. Again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us every day. It has been such a pleasure to be with you. I feel like I've met new friends from all over the world, and we have really had such a wonderful time with you. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Charlotte, for being with us every single day for this broadcast. Belinda, you've done a fantastic job with the closed captioning. Thank you so much for that as well. Tomorrow is our very last Virtual Excel Academy in this particular format. So let me tell you about tomorrow, and then I will share with you potential future sessions. So tomorrow, and if we could have Deanna, perhaps you might be able to translate some of this. Tomorrow we have Independencia en Casa.
Hola, mañana vamos a tener otra sesión y se llama Independencia en la Casa.
And this is with Conchita Hernandez.
Y va a ser presentado por Conchita Hernández.
Primarily, we are targeting our older students, middle and high schoolers.
Es para estudiantes que están en la secundaria y prepa.
However, we always welcome everyone, so please do join us if you can.
pero todos son bienvenidos y por favor de venir a la sesión si pueden.
And that's what's coming up tomorrow. But let me just tell you what's coming up in the future.
Eso es lo que va a haber para mañana y les vamos a contar que las demás sesiones que va a haber en el futuro.
In the summer, we will be having summer camp, and this is with APH.
En el verano vamos a tener campamento de verano y va a ser con la organización APH.
And it is by age group. So please look online for the appropriate age group.
Y va a ser por edades, o por favor vaya al internet y busque a cuáles edades y cuáles días.
And Leanne, if you wouldn't mind sticking the link in the chat window for where they can find summer camp, that would be fabulous.
Y Leanne va a poner en el chat donde pueden ir en el internet para buscar esto.
Super. Thank you so much for translating. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We're going to end our recording, but stick around just for another minute because I do see a couple questions in Spanish and otherwise. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.